Now, to tell you the truth, I'm sort of burnt out on talking about it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's just a job, really, something to keep me moving. My real passion is my hobby.
Really? What's that?
I work with retards.
Man, just sit there and shut up. This ain't no democracy.
Yes, it is.
No, it ain't. This is the United States. Your ass belong to me. They don't give a damn about you. They don't like you. I don't like you. Nobody likes you. What?
You gotta answer this. You got it.
How do you think Leslie Headland got the green light for the Acolyte?
Oh, you gotta give him that hawk too and spit on that thing. You get me?
Want to talk about what's haunting you, or should we wait for a third act flashback?
Go yourself.
All right, welcome back to another Thirsty Thursdays. There you go, Kyle. Starting it off.
I'll be the Foley artist here.
Excellent timing, my friend. I'm working with a little Woodford Reserve that I got for my birthday a couple weeks ago. So, yeah, I got 3 bottles of whiskey, 2 Japanese and bourbon. So it's pretty. It'll take me a while to get through.
Gooch, did you bring your booze?
I don't drink, so I'm good. I am good.
Okay.
Oops, and I just celebrated 2 years of being sober yesterday, so 7 up for me, guys. Let's go.
Okay, so what do you have, Badger, that you're drinking?
Heroin, I believe, is what it's pronounced as. No, it's 7 Up. 7 Up.
Very nice.
Oh, I remember that. I
Yeah.
remember that one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sugar-free, by the way, because I want to be completely gay and lame. Yeah.
I have a root beer, actually. I occasionally will have a cigar with a root beer that's sugar-free.
I guess beer is in the title. It counts.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They pair well,
Occasional.
actually, surprisingly.
I stick to the classics, like a good old, Hollywood line of cocaine. Just,
Kung Fu fight powder.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bolivian marching powder.
Yes.
You guys want to party?
Yeah.
Starting off right.
Oh, I like this symmetry going with the 4 squares. I mean,
I know. Well, yeah, it's a smaller stream this time around.
You must understand that this is actually 4 people talking.
Yeah,
Just fine.
Basically,
Be just fine.
Well, Bobby and Matt from Hardcut and Sin were all like, "Yo, what are you doing? It's Beetlejuice 2 opening night," and I'm like, "Okay."
is that why they're not here?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So I was like, "All right, I'll just do another one next Thursday with you guys." And I asked
I'm gonna
Kyle,
totally
like,
make
hey,
fun of them.
Yeah, totally.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No. I mean, funny enough, I have a confession. It's going to come as a shock to all of you.
Never seen Beetlejuice?
I've never seen Beetlejuice. So I'm going to actually, everybody's giving me a hard time about it. So I'm going to sit down on Saturday, watch it, and then go watch the sequel right after.
We deal with people
it's not
who
that
haven't
bad
seen
of a
Superman.
situation.
What's that?
Yeah, no, that's nothing. Kyle's right. That's not that bad of a situation. We deal with people who haven't seen Superman, haven't seen Aliens, haven't seen any modern or past seminal thing. Pick one that you think everyone has seen. Back to the Future. Hadn't seen
Back
it.
to the Future. Wow.
Jurassic Park.
Hadn't seen it. Well, maybe Jurassic Park. Yeah, but that's the other thing. It's ever hit and miss. But still, a lot of them that you'd go, how?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I follow a few people on Twitter. One girl that does horror reviews on YouTube, and
What's her name?
she's like, "Oh God, I'm blanking right now."
Is it Nadia?
Yeah. So she hadn't seen Terminator 2. Just
Don't
like,
tell
or
Sin this.
Terminator 1.
That's
So I was
insane.
like, what?
Could you imagine someone not seeing Terminator 2, Gooch?
Yes.
The lunacy.
Absolutely craziness.
We are
And her
very
name's
well
Nadia,
acquainted.
too.
We're
That's
very well
insane.
acquainted with Nadia. She is on Gooch's channels multiple times. She's very sweet.
Yes.
She has not seen shit. Unless it's horror related. Just like Irwin, Nerd Wars is who else we're referring to.
Yeah.
Seen nothing. Busy doing other things.
We got to get her on then, because Megan the Texan's already calling us out for our lack of representation.
I know it's a little no sin, no nothing. It's a little sausagey. Sorry.
Yeah, but one of us can identify
What
as
was son
as
of a bitch, you're
non-binary or
I'll identify. I'll take the hit.
Pansexual, genderqueer. Here you go.
See, this is the thing. If Hardcut was here, they would actually be able to provide the wigs.
Oh.
They would bring the girls.
Yeah, no, I'm not seeing Beetlejuice until tomorrow. You have time. You have time to see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to probably see it next week during Discount Tuesdays. For
a movie,
I'm especially not. I'm not aching to see that thing. So
you think maybe it didn't need a sequel?
A little bit. Yeah. Kind of feeling that. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of movies don't need a sequel.
True.
I mean,
true, but sometimes
T2 didn't need a sequel.
But then it turned out to be amazing. So there's plenty of things that didn't need sequels and got sequels and they were better. True. Alien probably didn't need a sequel, then Aliens came out. I know, Gooch, you think Alien is still I'm just saying. It's up there with the
and then all the others
in the original
Alien.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I went off on Alien Romulus over 2 videos. It's like they completely went away from the original inspiration for it, which is H.P. Lovecraft. With Alien 3, like they just went off the rails. I'm not even counting Alien versus Predator. And then Prometheus came in and had to like explain it all away. The whole point of Alien was that it's mysterious. You don't know where it came from. That's what makes it scary. And when you start to explain things away, it's like with the engineers and the space jockey and all that, it just loses it's cool.
You didn't like Space Jesus?
No.
Well, hold on a second. That wasn't in Prometheus. This was talked about in the press outside of the movie.
True, but also it can be inferred while watching it. Like there were the theories of the reasons why they wanted to destroy us. It's not
right, but
it's sort of just confirmed.
There's nothing to indicate that. Although, now that I'm thinking about it, that fucking Mueller, not Mueller, Mural. There we go.
Yeah.
I live by a place like an area in Austin that's called Mueller. Anyway, there's a shrine in the ship in Prometheus, and I think it's of xenomorph that's doing the Christ pose.
The Christ pose thing, yeah. I that's what I'm saying. It was like a theory, and that just got confirmed. Like really, just said it like on the nose. But that's sort of Paul's point of like he fucking said everything on the nose. Instead of being it mysterious, he's like, nope, there's a black goo, and there's this, and there's that, and he just took all the mystery out of it.
Well, that's exactly right. Like, so I actually got the complete H.P. Lovecraft collection. I'm like working through all his short stories because he never wrote a novel of like a novella, which was At the Mountains of Madness, which was the inspiration for Prometheus. But they went and screwed it all up because most of H.P. Lovecraft's things, it's cosmic horror. You don't know where these creatures are coming from. They're not good. They're not evil. You know, it's completely unknown. And I mean, the guy can write really well. I just finished a short story of his. I'm gonna mess up the name. Dagon, maybe. So it's about this guy who gets shipwrecked over in the Pacific, gets on like some sort of ghost ship or something, and meets this like deity alien thing. And then suddenly like somebody finds him and, you know, it's like, oh, go to the hospital in San Francisco. And then they see that alien thing is about to attack. It's pretty awesome. It
sounds like a fever dream.
Oh my God, it totally is. And all Alien needed, you have the xenomorph, just another creature that you don't know what it's doing. I'm not saying Predator because Alien versus Predator, like it's never been executed well outside the video games. But yeah, I don't know. It could have used like another creature with an unknown origin, like Alien 4 or whatever, and not have the xenomorph and have this new creature. You know, get the guy to
just make another fucking movie that doesn't have anything if you want a new creature.
Like So like Alien Romulus. So your issue is that it over explains and it's taking snippets from the other movies and
Well,
putting
it
it in there
completely
over explaining, or
yeah. So well, Prometheus over explained. That's where the problems began. Then
It
Covenant
managed to do both, under explain and over explain.
Yeah. And then Covenant tried to go and make it an action movie without any horror in it, which I mean I couldn't tell you the plot line of Covenant, and then Romulus like tried to straddle the line between Prometheus and the other Alien movies, and it was a confusing mess. I don't know, at least to me.
I can't tell if his camera froze
yeah,
or not.
no, I'm not frozen at all. It's just my camera is not working.
You might need to pop out and back in to fix it. I'm not sure, I don't know if you want to take them out and put them back in if it works. I'm not familiar exactly with these mugs. I didn't mind Romulus personally. It seems like they tried to go for. At first, I think the marketing was horrible because I thought it was something completely different than it was. I thought it was like a heist movie because they were greedy and they were trying to steal shit that they were going to sell. Not that they were the children stuck and basically indentured servitude on one of these shitty transforming worlds.
Yeah,
like. Remember the Aliens too, when Ripley's being explained to that these shake and bake operations exist where they go in and there's families there. Yeah. Well, what happens to those kids when the parents die or move over? They get stuck fulfilling. So that to me was more motivation than I've seen any of the Alien movies give to their protagonists of like, fuck trying to survive. I would rather die from the aliens and go back to live in the goddamn indentured servitude.
I mean, but
stuff.
My biggest problem, which a lot of people have pointed out, is that Ripley used like nuclear weapons to blow the ship up. So how the hell is like one little piece still there?
Oh, I don't.
Well, multiple pieces because when they're at the beginning, flying through, there's a debris field going on here.
Yeah, he'll be back. This is when I'm assuming it's like she overloaded the reactor and a thing, whatever. And then like the way you cope away with that is like it's really strong space metal and. The alien was shot out first from the pod, so it was already sort of out there and floating. And I don't know. There's still wreckage from some explosions. I've seen less copes from other things.
Yeah, like the Acolyte.
Seems like it seems like at the end of the day, if you didn't like Prometheus and Covenant, you won't like this because they use the black goo.
I mean, Prometheus that's a major plot on its own. Like if I went in blind, I had no idea when I watched it in the theater. I didn't know that I was getting an Alien movie until like the thing pops out. I'm like,
it takes a while.
Yeah, it takes a while. It could have been it could have been a good movie on its own outside the Alien universe.
I'm right there with you.
Like you can have your engineers, you can have your like even you can have the xenomorph or some like version thereof.
You could add a generic monster and it would have hit better. The main chick was likable. I thought Andy was dumb as fuck at first. Like,
oh yeah.
The idea of like, how the fuck does she have this synthetic? Those are super expensive. Only like high-end companies and militaries have them. But then she explains, well, her dad found it in the trash and it's malfunctioning. And if it was found out that she had it, it would be taken away. It's like, okay. And then when he got the update, I did like that. I wish they had played that more. Like, whatever. The ending sort of goes, if you don't like the engineers, you won't like the ending, basically. But
so
other than that, it's like more offensive.
Romulus is a mishmash of various different iterations in the Alien franchise, and it's strange in that way.
I would rather watch that than Alien 3 or any of the AVP movies or the Predator.
No, that doesn't even count.
It doesn't, but unfortunately, it sort of does.
I know.
It sort of does, but yeah, I get what you're saying. But still, it's besides Alien and Aliens, I'd rather watch this than any other one. Yeah. Resurrection, it sort of took a lot from Resurrection too.
Yeah. So
like the whole plot point of Resurrection is this small space station. Instead of a military vessel that's doing all the fuckery, it's a small little space station that was black-sided. So,
well, Princess Fiona says, no wreckage from that explosion. 4,000 friggin' megatons, and it wouldn't be clumped together. Why didn't they go get one from LV-426? Yeah?
I don't know. She has Fetty.
I mean, it goes back to like the shitty writing that I've been talking about on my channel. Well, we've all been talking about shitty writing and bad character development. It's people that have no life experience, and me and you, Badger, have already talked about this ad nauseum. People with no life experience trying to write, epic sci-fi or fantasy or whatever, and they don't have the real world experience to be able to translate complex themes from the real world into a fiction one, and they also are just shitty writers. Like, no, they never taught them like proper English grammar.
Hey, let me hop on that while we're talking about shitty writers. So Phoebe Waller-Bridge had a video that I watched in my stream talking about how movies aren't structure to me. I don't think about structure. I think about the characters, and I think about the moments and the quirks and all that stuff. I commented, made a story on my IG, and I said, this makes total sense that she would say this bullshit. Let me quote William Goldman, one of the greatest screenwriters of all time. Screenplays are structure. That's all they are.
Yep.
End quote.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is these young individuals that want to be these screenwriters or writers in general. They come up with ideas. And they think that, I'm going to put this idea, and you see it in comics a lot in the last at least 15 years. First act, solid. Second act, you're okay. The transition between the two, sometimes a little rocky.
Yeah.
Third act, it's just, you're like, what the fuck just happened here?
Yeah.
It just does, and that's the problem with film is, well, besides the messaging and Hollywood being Hollywood right now, is like they come up with the idea, but they don't know how to, write it out fully for the 3 acts and have that smooth transition throughout the 3 acts. What is actually going to catch you in each act?
Right.
What's going to be that little moment that's going to catch your eye, catch your ear, and go, holy shit, this is interesting. On top of that, character depth. So, I mean, that's the problem nowadays, that these people want the instant gratification, look at me, I wrote something. Well, you wrote shit. Right. Well, that's not me. That's on you. I blame you because you're misogynist, you're racist, you're whatever.
Right.
No, you're writing
it's
shit.
It's not to do with the fact that you can't write.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's people failing to take responsibility for their own actions at the end of the day. Like Kathleen Kennedy, Leslie Headland, Amandla Stenberg.
No, we all loved it. There was everyone loved it. It's just being drowned out by really loud majority of everyone, racist and sexist and toxic bigots. Don't you understand?
It couldn't be the fact that they fucked with the lore so bad that longtime fans didn't like, their changes, like witchcraft. And
they got their wish. Most of the actual fans have done what they asked them to and fucked off. Yeah. So all they have left is their modern audience. And it turns out it ain't that many people, which is why, when they were like, people go like, oh, people that promote this stuff, they don't watch it. Well, they sure did. That's the point. They're the only ones that watch it, them and like us who punished ourselves to do content creation about it.
It's driving views.
I blame like the directors and the producers themselves, because like there should be a mentoring program, but we don't have that. We should have had that.
Harvey Weinstein had a very well developed program.
He had a great one. But like there should have been,
for some reason it only involved women though.
Yeah. But like the egos get so inflated, and we've seen a lot of these directors like James Cameron, all of them, they have these huge godlike egos that I'm not going to mentor anybody. I'm not going to take the time. And when they do, it's very minimal, right? So like there has to be a better system in place for people to earn their stripes, not just get handed the keys to the, to your brand new car. They take, here you go, kid, take it for a spin. So that the whole system is falling apart, and all they want to do is blame the audience. When we sat there, gave our money for some great content in the 70s and 80s and 90s, and it's on you guys to fix it, because you guys should have had that set in a long time ago. So
By the way, what Fiona said is the problem with Thrawn. That's because Filoni didn't know how to write. Like, Thrawn is a fucking idiot because
he doesn't.
Filoni is a fucking
Yeah,
idiot.
yeah,
So, of
he's
course,
smart.
he
He
can't
is.
write Thrawn, who's supposed to be a tactical genius, as he's 7 moves ahead and is all, I study their culture and art and all of this. That's how I see their weaknesses. None of that shit was in any of it because I guess that's just, he turned into a Scooby-Doo villain where every week he's beaten by those pesky kids in the Rebel Alliance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's a great question, Megan. I don't know.
Yeah. No,
My sobriety. Well, I mean, that's my sobriety, but yeah, no alcohol.
It almost made you fall off the wagon.
A couple of those were close. Sorry. Yeah,
you had to call your sponsor.
So I remember. Yeah. So I remember, like, back in college, I took a screenwriting class. And I think the teacher was like pretty good. I was just the asshole that like tried to challenge her on everything. She's like, any great story can fit into this like 5-sentence structure where you just have it's Mad Libs and you essentially fit a story. This basic like 3 to 5 act story. And then I'm like, well, what about Pulp Fiction? So did non-linear storytelling fuck up structured storytelling?
There could be outliers.
Yeah, but it's.
I want to say this one thing though. I'm bouncing off of what you said, Gooch. Is the mentorship that's not happening? I think with individual great filmmakers is by choice. Mm-hmm. I once submitted to be some kind of mentorship or involvement working in the offices of Richard Linklater, and I got an email back that said that he's not interested in one the producing or looking at the material from different writers or helping them along, but you can be a possibly a PA or something like that. Which made me realize, okay, so who is being mentored, or who are the mentors right now? When you can't have someone like a James Cameron or a Steven Spielberg do that type of stuff, it's kind of the corporate studios, aren't they? Who really don't know how to tell a fucking story.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but there's some younger director producers like Robert Eggers who actually knows what the hell he's doing. Well, we'll see with Nosferatu, but first 3 outings pretty damn good.
Well, he's got an esoteric style to his filmmaking. He's there's some aspects of the way that he makes movies that I like, and there's some that I don't. Him indulging so much in campfire scenes that are tribal and paganistic, and they're hooting and they're doing that for minutes on end while shots of the fire are crossfading over their faces, and it's okay. That's darkly weird, and all right, that's not my thing. I mean, that's not what makes a great story and style and all. But that's just me.
Pacing is a huge issue in almost everything these days, for sure.
And that's what Princess Fiona is saying. It's not the act structure; it's the beats.
Yeah,
it's a competent screenwriter. That's why none of these movies feel right. Yeah, it just Alien Romulus specifically. It felt very clunky to me because it had a hard time going from that second to the third act, and kind of meandered and like took the long way around. And the story just didn't flow for me. I don't know if you guys experienced the same thing.
It flowed as far as like, okay, they're going on to get the cryopods so they can leave.
Right.
No, I like that setup. I like that it sets up an empathetic place for the audience to come into the movie.
In other words, it makes sense what they do to me for a lot of the movie. Yes, they're shallow characters. I agree.
I don't like that they're late teenagers, early 20s. I think they're annoying characters, especially that Brit guy. there's something in the wall. You can barely understand him when he's like, "Oh, you got Andy? Yeah, Andy, you can come on to our ship, man. We're gonna do that." And it's like you need subtitles for that character. And I make this point in my video. I even got pushback. There's someone in the comment section who said, if you can't understand a British accent, then you shouldn't be reviewing movies. And I said, no, it's not about the British accent. It's that fucking actor I can't understand.
Yeah.
I mean, I did not share that issue, but I guess I understand. But yeah.
You understood every word that character said.
Too fucking right, I did. It's not my fault that you don't understand basic bloody fucking English, even though we make it. All right.
That's actually pretty good, Badger.
Thanks.
Is that Cockney?
Yeah, it gets into Cockney-ish. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of The Gentleman.
It's not Cockney. It's like fucking. It's like that real Southern, like London shit. I'm gonna get butchered, but yeah, no, it gets into. I get it, but I'm not gonna judge the whole movie because one fucking actor. You can't.
I mean, well, no. So
it's that, but also the ages of them. My suggestion that I would have liked to have seen is a mixture of generations trying to pull this off for themselves.
Oh, like maybe some parents there. That would be fine. Trying to get
parents
their
with a
kids
kid,
off.
and then do something really fucking brutal in Romulus. You kill a kid off. Okay,
they sort of maybe did that, but not in the way you're suggesting.
I mean, they're all
right. I'm talking like a different kind of Newt character.
Yeah.
Who's maybe a little bit older, make her
they'd get accused
12 or
of
something.
They'd get accused of ripping off Alien with the nuke. You see how?
No, because yes, I get what you're saying. Okay, make it a boy or something. It's like this is where a gender swap could actually work. Because so but you actually have the real parents. Actually have a representation of a family, small family on that crew trying to make their way to a better life.
Well, isn't that the not the Fantastic Voyage? What the hell was that? Lost in Space. That's
little parallels there. Yeah.
Right.
But this is like in a horror element.
Yeah.
This is a horror movie.
You could have done it Lost in Space, but like they need power cells, so they break it to get the power cells, and when take the power cells, they accidentally release. It's the same fucking shit. I get it. You need a thing, and when you get the thing, you cause all the monsters. Now you got to deal with the repercussions of it. That's cool. It's a setup, but like you said, you could have swapped that shit out and put it in any other universe, and you could have told the same story. I could have told the story in Star Trek, in Star Wars, Battlestar.
Well, no, not with the consequences. What happens to the family? This is horrific stuff. They lose their child because of the consequences of their decision. A tragedy occurs, and that's what you can have in a horror movie,
right?
And you could tell that scary movie was what I'm saying in any other one. It didn't have to be the xenomorph varietal.
Well, but you're saying you could tell that story in Star Wars.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of scary stories that are told in the Star Wars franchise. Just check them out. Check out Zombie Troopers, Expanded Universe. There's more than 6 movies. 30 years
my
ago.
audio.
Movies.
Something's going on with my headset for whatever reason.
Oh well, we can still hear you.
Okay,
which is a good thing.
Badger, you mentioned something that I have no idea. Is that a book? Is that a what is that?
Death Troopers?
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's a book. Check it out. You might like it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of
we're talking about the movies.
Well, yeah.
Why haven't they adapted that book to make I'm for it if they want a Star Wars horror movie?
Gooch, if you can't tell, he's a little bit of a Leon. He's a fucking contrarian that likes to go down rabbit holes. What I said was the basic premise. Oh, no. I know. The basic premise of this movie could be told in any other setting, not just aliens, which is what you guys were saying to begin with. That it could have just been another generic alien. Could have been another scary movie.
Get the MacGuffin to get off the planet. That could be
exactly a MacGuffin to get off the planet. Yes.
Yeah,
I would have to argue back that that would be the rabbit hole. That would be the rabbit hole to say it could be told in any other. That's the rabbit hole. You're going into a myriad of different things there.
No, but the other thing I didn't like.
Cal Kestis is stuck on Braca. He wants to get off, and so he breaks into an Imperial ship and he steals the power generator, which releases the prisoners. Now he has to deal with the after effect. Was that a fucking rabbit hole, or was there a clear example of how it could be done in Star Wars? You want me to do the same thing in Star Trek, or can we move on?
Oh, jeez.
SpongeBob.
I got another stream. I got to conserve. Sorry.
SpongeBob.
Get it all out. Get it all out.
Leon. We'll
So,
be on.
Badger, are you streaming like 3 times a day now?
No, some
Or
days.
just today?
Some days.
Okay.
Yesterday.
He's trying to catch up to me.
Today. I know, Gooch.
Yeah.
Poor guy. No, it's because his is popping off. Sundays with the Gooch.
Yeah, check that out. Yeah. I haven't caught it live. Only the replays, but I like what I've seen. I like so far. So yeah, I'll tune in on Sunday.
Yeah, it's my little gong show.
Well, we all need that.
Yeah,
14,000 strong.
Yeah. I mean, and when you have constant cannon fodder like we do with like Acolyte and Rings of Power, and there's endless content to be had.
I'm not going to be able to comment on any of that shit. I'm not watching that.
Well, and that's the funny part of like what the Critical Drinker said in his review of Rings of Power. He's like, I'm watching this shit so you don't have to.
Well, he's doing it so that he can continue to maintain his audience. I mean, I get that.
Sure,
it's a business.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, but there's only 168 hours in a week. I don't feel like wasting them watching something that's shit.
He could just not cover it and it would be fine. I think if you even look, the videos on Rings of Power do significantly less than other topics just because people are so fucking out of that show.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's paying attention.
That's good news.
Yeah, we'll see. Somehow they'll still probably do a 3rd season.
I mean, it's what? Who's funding the operation? Is it just Bezos and that's that?
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's Bezos. I think it's just like.
I wonder if if he even knows that it exists.
Yeah.
His son said, "Don't fuck it up." He told it on stage that my son told me, "Don't fuck it up, Dad."
So he does.
He knows. So I don't get it, dude. I don't get it. I don't know how his son's not like, "What did you do? What did you do?"
Now we know that he's an accessory to this.
Yeah, and I mean, just like Princess Fiona says, yeah, this time nobody cares at this point. Everybody tuned out in season 1.
Yeah, it's way worse.
It's way worse. Badger, are you actually watching it?
I watched 3 back to back, and I gotta watch the 4th one at some point. Yeah, that just came out tonight.
Is it episodic? Like once
hour each? Yeah, episodic.
I do not feel sorry for you one bit.
I know you don't. Don't worry.
Gooch, are you watching it?
No, I'm smarter than that.
He's smart. Yeah.
Good on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, don't support this shit. Support if you don't like Fallout.
I did.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I would agree with that. It's the same thing. You go to a movie theater, you buy a ticket, you are voting. You put a couple clicks into your streamer, you're voting.
Yeah.
Well, much like voting in California, no amount of me watching an episode is going to change anything.
Well, the mainstream media seems to think that Nerdrotic, Critical Drinker, and all of us are changing things because we're misogynists and racist.
Well, this is the phrase that I like to say. $1 million is still made up of pennies. Okay.
Yeah. They got to get their story straight because either we don't care, we don't count, we're a super quiet minority of just alt-right grifting bigots, or we have a substantial amount of pull and Disney is listening to everything we say, in which case, where the hell is my Sebastian Stan Luke Skywalker show?
Well, they're not listening to us. That's the thing. They say they are, but they're not, because they've just come out and said that Agatha, that they wanted to make that a full lesbo show. And
how is that even a thing?
All
of them said a variation of the LGBTQ plus character. Witches are lesbians, witches are gay. It's great.
Look what they're doing with Bo. Same thing.
Yeah,
like they lie. It's the same verbiage over and over and over again, and people drink the Kool-Aid and still promote this shit and think it's great.
Just consume product. Don't ask questions.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's the same. I agree with Badger. Like it's what are we? Because they always say there's way more of them than us. Well, apparently not.
It's what Chris was raging about. The fact that they call us here. They say there's no room for bigots or toxic or racism in insert community here. But then the fun thing is they're the ones that get to pick who the bigots are.
Right.
And it turns out the bigots are anyone that didn't like Rey Skywalker or didn't like Acolyte. Yeah.
Right.
It's disagreement. They literally
Very
label
childish, actually.
Yeah. If you disagree with something, you are automatically a bigot. I have been called this online many times.
It's a
And then
bunch
they can
of
justify
left turns.
doing
That's all
anything.
it is. It's a left turn,
But
left
they
turn,
can't
left turn.
ever provide a counter argument to what you're saying. They just resort to ad hominem attacks.
They won't
Every time.
And
Every
time. I sometimes on my feed on Facebook, there will be just, I don't know why. Maybe it's the engagement of something that pops up and then more comes along. They'll show me some statement that Ellen Page made, or Elliot Page.
It's Ellen Page. Let's not.
If it's legally changed, sure. All right,
Sure.
go with it. Yeah. So, but there's an article that says what he says when someone misgenders him. All I put is she, and you just get an onslaught of people. Ad hominem attacks. There was one. I wish I had screenshotted this shit. I put like a GIF of from a movie of somebody, saying, that, it was the Austin Powers.
It's a man.
Just an onslaught of people berating me, calling me a bigot, hate, just full of hatred, a despicable human being. I responded in kind, like I didn't return the favor of calling them names.
Right.
Just refuted what they were saying with logic, basic biology, etc.
Yeah.
Every single one of them, like it was, whack-a-mole or something. They either blocked me or they deleted their thread of comments. I wish I had screenshotted all of it.
Wow.
It was, that was amazing. I
like
loved
lawless trolls online that they wouldn't say this shit to your face either. Little weasels.
I mean, you'll see some in like public crowds being asked questions and all that stuff, but usually they quickly get angry, even get violent, and then they run away. Because they're betas.
Yeah, and then every experience I've had in person with people has just been very pleasant, and they all just don't like all the shit for the same reasons we say, like the actual people supporting all this that are like this online and yell at Kyle. They don't really show up in public because turns out they're antisocial.
It's really funny because the review that's like the gift that keeps on giving was my review of I Saw the TV Glow. I went into that movie completely blind after seeing Furiosa. I'm like, fuck it, I'll just sneak into this movie. I have no idea what it's about. Watching. Like, there's zero character development. There's no plot to be had. And then just the movie just ends. And then I'm like, all right, well, this movie is complete shit because it lacks a plot and it doesn't have any good character development. And I get berated as like, oh, cisgender guy gets upset about a movie that wasn't made for him. Apparently it was like an allegory to like transgenderism or whatever. And I'm like, if you want it to be an allegory to that, fine, but at least write it properly. And that, and then I get like, I mean, it's my most disliked video, but the engagement just keeps pumping out views. So whatever. And then, I just started saying to people like, stop acting like this movie's Citizen Kane. But yeah, by the way, I still stand by it. I Saw the TV Glow is a fucking terrible movie. Like, I don't
show me on the doll where my TV glows hurt you.
No, my 90 minutes of my life that I'll never get back.
You'd have wasted them anyway.
Why do I merge that with the Conjuring Insidious universe? I don't know. I keep thinking that James Wan did that.
I Saw the TV Glow?
Yeah.
No, it was like A24, like super indie bullshit.
A24.
It's the first A24 movie that I actively fucking hated. Other than, I don't know if Zone of Interest was also on there. Zone of Interest was another shitty movie that like everybody acts like it's Citizen Kane. That's my rant.
People will defend movies that are not worth defending as if they were Citizen Kane.
Right.
And it does not make any sense.
And it's funny because we just had this conversation, was it Tuesday night, Badger, where we were reviewing Invincible, And after reviewing it the second or third time, it like because I didn't see the episode for quite a while, and then watching it now, it's like
Talking about that third one.
Talking about the fifth one and the sixth one, like the character that we actually really liked was the gay character William, because it was natural, a natural dialogue, natural depth to the character,
the best friend,
well written, yeah. And then the character that we hate the most is the black female, which they made an uber bitch that was just gaslighting and constantly selfish and me. I'm like, well, if they're trying to message us, like, they're doing it completely backwards, because that's not appeasing.
A lot of that show hits differently now than it did a couple years ago. It's very interesting watching it over again.
Yeah.
By the way, has any of you watched Terminator Zero?
That's funny you asked that question.
Yes, it's funny.
You guys go ahead. I don't like anime. I don't like the way it's animated. I just don't.
Kyle.
I just don't do it.
Okay,
here we go. Here we go chastise
with
Kyle right now again. I'm going to do a quick rant and really do it quickly as I can.
I don't like anime either, actually. Yeah, I'm not a defender.
Well, then I apologize. I assume something, and I don't like that when people do it, and I did it, so I apologize.
All right. No, I agree with you. I don't like anime either.
I'm not the biggest fan of anime, but there are some good animes. Like, for example, Ghost in the Shell. That was pretty fucking good back in the day. Like,
a little tidbit for you: the studio that did the animation for Ghost in the Shell did Terminator Zero.
Oh, really? So, okay. Well,
we are reviewing episode 1 tonight at a couple hours from now. But here's the thing: people want to say, "Well, it's anime." Well, no, you can't use that as an excuse, as Badger has attested to.
Kyle, you would get very upset at what was said to me about the defenses of plot holes and characters 1v1ing Terminators and excuses. You'd be very upset. It's anime, though. I'm supposed to forgive it.
It's cartoon. No, it's a Japanese version.
Japanese women get dispensation, right?
Why would I get upset about that?
I'm upset about it. If you don't like anime, and then an excuse is like you have to ignore shit because it's anime.
Yeah. No. Well, yeah. So that's the tricky thing. All right. So Paul, you asked me that. You texted me, and you said, "Did I see it?" And I just said, "You may say that the story is good," and I've had this told to me over the years by other people. I'm just going to come back and say that may be the case. I just, visually speaking, it's not a medium that I like to watch. That translation of a story. That carrier of a story, I just don't like watching because it's just strange. You'll have someone saying a speech or yelling, and it's just all you see is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And that's what you were saying over text the other day. As I was watching, because I just finished it, I watched the last 3 episodes looking at the specific instances of like character emotion. And I gotta say, you're absolutely right. Like I didn't see the characters like emoting the proper like drama with whatever the main character is. I'm sorry,
like the dubbed version or the subtitled version.
Either. No. I'm talking about just the actual animation. It doesn't show like the dramatic range that a live action actor could.
Hold on a second. I want to bounce back to that because it's not necessarily animation. It's anime specifically I'm talking about. I've gone back. Me and my wife have done this. We've gone nostalgic for these period of movies that we're watching that we grew up with. These animated films like Aristocats, Rescuers Down Under, Balto, and the one that I want to reference that genuinely moved me is the American Tail, Fievel, the movie Fievel,
so
American Tail,
and the sequel was good.
Yeah, fun animated film. It really is. They're both they're really fun movies. Well, the first one is less fun. It's literally like a drama, and it got to me. It moved me. It made me cry. It's like it's a fucking mouse. Yeah, it's a fucking animated anthropomorphic mouse, and it made me cry. It did. It genuinely did. The voice acting from whoever they had as that playing that role, and the way the story was told.
I mean,
is
if you really
beautiful.
want to cry, watch the first Land Before Time.
I saw that, I think, segments of it as a kid, but yeah, I should check it out. Because I hear a lot of people talking about that one.
Like in the first 5 minutes, it's like
you're talking about an animation legend, though. You're talking about Don Bluth, who is like very, very well known for his ability to draw emotion for characters in animation. He is the master of it. You can say what you want about the storylines, like we just reviewed Secret of Nim. Not the best story, not very well written, but the animation's top notch. It does pull at you. You're gonna get the best from and that's Don Bluth, who did that movie in a garage, basically. So yeah, you're harking back to a legend. Like, anime has the ability to do action incredibly well. Like they can bounce from 24 frames per second to 60 frames per second, like that, and it's a very smooth transition, and then come back. Whereas American animation still has trouble with it a little bit. Like, we saw X-Men 97 do it pretty good, but the animation for that, what they really captured with the American with X-Men 97, I should say, is the drama and the emotion. Like, you saw Gambit and Rogue and Magneto and Charles Xavier. You saw the raw emotion in their face. Anime can do that depending on the story. It just it also depends on the studio as well. Like, an art style. If you're going to look at like Spirited Away, that's a great, or a Princess Mononoke, or like Studio Ghibli films, incredible written stories with some incredible animation. You're going to be like marveling at what you just watched. This studio's primarily focuses on animation. Like, so production IG Studios is all about getting some excitement to the screen. So I kind of agree with you with the flatness of the emotion of their faces, but the animation is top notch.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not knocking the animation at all.
Yeah,
because like they got the look and feel.
It's not any of my complaints, by the way, about Terminator. It was not the animation.
I do realize what he's saying, though. With like certain anime, it does come. It's flat, and it doesn't hit as much. But it depends on the studio and the style of art that they're going to provide for that. Animation.
It seems to me that anime is this in between a fully fleshed out animated film or movie to a in between a that and like a graphic novel, essentially. That's what it seems to be. It seems to be an in between where it's you're not sure, because they don't fully go to the realm of providing all those frames and animating all of them in the way that, say, as you say, an American animated film would do. Back in the day. I mean, now we're dealing with CGI animated films.
Yeah, because I mean, they're not hand drawn.
Yeah, it's a totally different situation now.
Well, they are like Invincible. They're all 2D animation. They're all drawn. That's
hand drawn or like Adobe Illustrator drawn.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, digitally drawn. But I mean, it's easier to do it that way. But still, either way, it's still 2D animation.
Well, Princess Fiona says American animation can do it, but they don't understand the medium like the Japanese do. Blue Eye Samurai was French, and they nailed it. I don't think I watched that, but have you?
Yes, it's very well. That one's like one of the top written series I think besides X-Men, that I've watched in the last year and a half.
And that was on Netflix?
It's on Netflix. Episode 5 is probably the best written work I've seen in like 20, 30 years. It's incredible. And she's right. It's made in France and in Canada, here in Quebec, with I forget the company's name. it'll come to me. But they took a lot of 2D animation, mixed it with high 3D CGI, and it's just beautifully done. Great storytelling.
Now, are you commenting both on the writing and the animation? Because
yes,
those are two different things that we can talk about, right?
Well,
like
what
was the famous one on Netflix that got adapted a couple years ago?
Bebop,
like 5 years ago, the Death Book or
Death
something.
Note?
Death Note, right?
Yeah, horrible.
And people didn't like the translation of that into live action.
No, but One Piece came out and they liked that one, and that one was a little bit more faithful. So it seems it's dependent on how close to source material they tried to go.
Yeah,
right. But how much of it was a criticism that it didn't look more anime-esque versus the story? I don't know the Death Note
criticism
anime
they changed shit.
They race swapped, gender swapped.
Mm-hmm.
They did the
They
thing.
tried to take a lengthy series that's like I think 70 episodes long and crunch it into a tight 88 minutes.
Yeah,
it's not going to work. It was all over.
I can see that.
Literally all over
I can see that. Yeah.
Did you like the
surprised that they
Animatrix?
wouldn't leave that open for a sequel.
Kyle, did you like the Animatrix back in the day when it came out?
I did see it. I do remember seeing that.
Because even me as a... By the way, I don't know about you. I don't like anime because I get weird feelings where a lot of time it looks like it's trying to be like Western America. But everyone has sort of American features and certain American cultures that they've appropriated, which I understand. Japan and we have a fun little history together, so I get all that.
Right.
But it gives me weird feelings on some anime, which is why I tend to stray away from it. But things like Animatrix and Terminator, if it didn't have some of the lore things I disagree with, I like it. It's very palatable to me, as opposed to some where it's just like, I don't like watching this. Makes me feel fucking weird. The screaming, the extreme animes.
Well,
ones that look more realistic, I could get with.
Let's actually get into the lore for Terminator. Tell me your thoughts. What you didn't like about the lore in Terminator Zero? Because the fact that they, so for me, I love all the philosophical stuff that they get into.
I know.
Yeah, you knew that I would.
I meant Gooch's. He knows I'm going to roll on, but sorry, the philosophical stuff is great. Yeah, if you like it in this type of franchise.
But the biggest lore change when it came to the philosophy is in the original movie. It's all one timeline, and as it was explained in Terminator Zero, where you don't go back to your own past, you go back to another version.
Past.
A past.
You hit the crux of what I don't like about it. That, and we keep moving away from John Connor, and it didn't matter. There's been 1,000 saviors. We just keep hitting the reset button, and it's a new timeline every time, separate from the other ones. And I just don't like it. I don't like it.
Is it an amalgamation of what we've seen before in the past timeline?
All the movies counted. They just happened in a past timeline.
Right, but what I'm saying is are there modifications to it? Say, I don't know.
They all happen.
It looks differently, or is it exactly the same, but they just call it a different timeline?
No, everything happened exactly the way you remember it. This is just another run of the timeline, basically.
Well, that's
happened 1,000
creative
times
to me.
And it's the first time. Is it the first time that it wasn't based in America?
No.
Yes.
This is wasn't it just showing what happened in Japan? But the Skynet is still in. It's a story in the universe so you can assume in this timeline even there is a John and Sarah out there, or Sarah at least, but that doesn't matter because the focus is on someone going back to Japan to stop a very specific person from doing a very specific thing who's also trying to stop Skynet. It's very interesting, has a lot of great themes. The problem is I've seen those themes done better in Star Trek and the Matrix of what is it. But that being said, if you like anime and you like Terminator, this is fucking great for you because this is a place to discover all those things.
Yeah,
it just throws me off because I'm tired of the moving away from John Connor, and it makes me feel like resetting everything every time.
I mean, so in talking about moving away from John Connor, I want to get your take on Terminator Salvation. Because that's like continuing the storyline of John Connor.
How they were originally going to do it is the way that they should have done it.
Which was?
Okay.
I'll speak it out loud, and you tell me if you're really referring to this.
So
you wanted John Connor to die, And you wanted Marcus to wear John Connor like a skin suit and pretend to be him because
It was just his face.
Because McG thought that when we saw Terminator John in the future, him just looking like this, he sort of looked like a Terminator. That was his idea to
He
actually
did
make
look
him
robotic, actually.
Okay,
And I don't know if they came up
fucking
with the idea because of that. No. It
That's
would
a
make
terrible
sense
idea.
as to
It's horrible.
I think it's a cool idea because
Leon.
it would show that there is a longevity that he would have and an endurance by being this unique robot that is actually the outlier of the entire Skynet.
Did you like Genesis?
Oh God, no! Fuck.
Why?
no.
They turned him into a Terminator. That's what you said would be cool.
Who did they turn into?
John Connor.
John Connor into a Terminator? No.
I know
They
you
turned-
didn't want it done that way. You wanted. I know.
Right, it's a different way, and it's not just because of that happening in Genesis that he's now a T-1000. It's not that. It's
see the problem is everyone thinks that they're clever and can improve on a recipe when they don't even know how to cook. Just give me a fucking Terminator. You don't need to change the rules. Give me Marcus and all this other thing. Just give me an alien movie. You don't need to change the rules.
Badger, at the end of the day, 1 and 2, Terminator 1 and 2, that's all you need.
That's true. Yeah. And unfortunately,
I mean,
that's all we got right now.
We can agree on that.
Even T3 was
the
the
thing
same
that I'll
problem.
pitch is if you're going to continue it, you have to do something interesting and that's not a typical way to go about it, which is it clearly didn't work because they didn't make a direct sequel to Terminator
I'll meet you
Salvation.
halfway. I'll meet you actually halfway. I do actually condone Terminator Salvation, the director's cut, where at the end of it, John just gets Marcus's heart, and he goes on with the super powerful cyborg heart.
Oh, really? Is that what happened in the?
What's the theatrical and the directors where there's just extra scenes of John fighting Terminators in the beginning when they raid? But yeah, the actual ending of the movie is Marcus dies and gives his heart to John, who got stabbed during the end fight. So John goes on alive. Christian Bale, John Connor with the cyber card. But either way,
I would have liked to see the continuation of like, hey, what happens? Like
the comic got the alternate one, Kyle. They did a comic where it shows McGee's turning him fully into Marcus turning into.
Was that actually McGee's idea though?
Yes, it's 100%.
I like to call him McGuh.
McGuh, yes.
That's actually how you pronounce it.
You got a lot of it right. And the dude that played Kyle Reese that is gone now. Sorry, Chekhov.
Anton Yelchin.
Yeah. Thank you, Anton. Yeah,
fantastic fucking documentary. Love
great
Antasha.
Kyle Reese.
Oh, really?
Great Kyle Reese.
Yeah, I mean he was a great actor.
Yeah,
he got cut down. Was he in the 27 club?
No. He was checking his mail. He has his he didn't put his car in park or something like that. And it rolled back on it. He got trapped.
Yeah.
It's a fucking horrible way to go.
Jeep had a recall. It was their fault. It was Jeep's fault.
Yeah.
It is.
Wow.
But so there you go. I condone the ending of T3 and actually a lot of T3. So many movies are not as bad now in hindsight. The lore has been so thoroughly.
I don't mind because I like
the humor is a little weird in some of it, but
I like Claire Danes as John Connor's wife.
Yeah, I like her too, and that's Kate, and that's continued on. And the fact that at the same time they also send a Terminator back to take care of John's lieutenants, I like that. That's fine. That's wiggle.
Yeah.
But just Arnold was old, and the talk to the hand and all this shit is.
But you just don't like the Japanese version where there's something else could be in store for the timeline.
Was John Connor the star? Did it end with Judgment Day happening?
You do have to continue that in a way.
Well, the problem is
most of all with John Connor, because it's basically saying, "Hey, we're gonna have the New Testament Bible not have Jesus Christ in it."
Oh, that's what they're saying. They're moving away. That we were wrong. That's my point, by the way, is I've associated him as the Jesus Christ. That's it. He's the one. That's what I associate. They want us to not do that. Terminator is Terminator. John was just one savior, just like Danny from Dark Fate was a savior. That's what
they want. Yeah, you're not advocating that.
No, I am not advocating that.
Sometimes the way you explain things makes it sound like you're
I want them to understand that I get it, right? I fully understand what you're trying to do and say, and I do not agree with it. That's James Cameron. That's why he killed John in the first 5 minutes of Dark Fate.
Right.
I'm not on that party.
Yeah, I'm not on that party either. But also, how can T3 be canon to Terminator Zero when in T3 they delayed Judgment Day into 2003?
Because that was that timeline, and every time you go back, you create a new one. It's a multiverse.
Cop out. It's a cop out.
Yeah,
Cop out, everyone.
Whatever. If it was John
it though?
Connor, I wouldn't be complaining. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it is a cop out. I think you set the standard like that they're going back in time in the first movie, so now that exists, so you can use that for other storylines.
Well, it also makes it easier.
However, they didn't establish that there were multiple timelines.
but you're still establishing you can go back in time, so you're
Right,
still
but not
can
multiple
change,
timelines.
but it's still going to change the outcome for the future, right?
Yeah,
you can still go back in the past.
Kyle, honestly, you might want to check it out, bro. See what I'm dealing with over here.
We're just so that I could back up what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
that's a fair suggestion.
You
I
might
know,
like it,
but I'm not commenting on Zero exactly. Only what I'm hearing you guys say about that. These are alternate timelines.
Yeah, I mean,
go
they
by where we
made it
end up.
into a multiverse, and
yeah.
So the biggest lore change is the fact that they made it a multiverse. In the original, whatever it was, let's call it 4 movies up to Salvation. Yeah, okay. So from T2 to T3, they postponed Judgment Day, but Judgment Day is inevitable.
It's a canon event type thing, which I'm fine with.
Right. But so the underlying idea behind the first at least 2 movies, right, is that you go back into your own past, not a past.
Right.
Which
you go into your own game save. You don't start a new game plus.
Well, and there's tons of ways of doing time travel, but you need to stay consistent if that's what you've been doing.
Yeah. The point was, we always knew there were multiple futures, and sometimes people from different alternate futures, they were all coming back to the same past. That's what like the Sarah Connor Chronicles was sort of dealing with. Right. So it all lined up because the different branching were all going back to the same point of basically like the creation of the time displacement equipment or whatever. But now that would be canon breaking because now everyone is going back to a new one and just good luck in your new fucking run of the timeline.
Right.
I don't know. It's a little Groundhog Day. That's all. I don't know.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Let me know.
I remember enjoying the Sarah Connor Chronicles.
It was good.
Summer Glau was hot in that.
Totally worth a rewatch, by the way.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, Summer Glau
aged very well.
Like, whatever happened to
Lena
her?
Headey, before she was Cersei.
Oh.
Fucking way better as Sarah Connor.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, better than the Game of Thrones actress. Absolutely.
Yes.
That's
sorry. That's
Linda Hamilton is still.
Yeah, that's. I didn't think I needed to do it. Yeah, goes without saying. Yeah.
We got to get Sin on here. She needs to explain why she liked Genesis more than Fate. They're both bad.
Oh God.
Yeah, but also I like. If you were to go that route, I would rather watch Genesis than Fate. Fate is just no redeeming qualities. Genesis, I could watch Arnold make a bad robot or rug carpet salesman joke.
Curtain hangers, right?
Curtain hangers, yeah. And she's at least good to look at. That version of Sarah. Why can't I think of her name? Khaleesi. Shit. I'm a toxic. I'm sorry. Yeah, Amelia Clark.
Amelia Clark. That's it. Yep.
Genesis.
Again, a time fucking. They went back. They just went back later, and they tried to do the thing. Just give us the future war with the purple lasers.
Well, that guy, Jai Courtney, is it Jai Courtney?
Yes, yeah. Jai, I believe.
Such a man. He's
really good at Spartacus, but if you've ever seen Spartacus, he's the best friend. He's really good. It's really good. But
maybe I'm just commenting on those movies where they tried to push him as this lead, hero, and it's
Die Hard.
He does not have the charisma of a lead actor. He does not have that capability in his range. He just doesn't.
Well, Sin just commented, Dark Fate was a huge waste of everything. They had Linda and Arnold back together and screwed it all up. Yeah.
Turned Linda into a drunken old biddy.
Yeah.
We got to talk about Genesis, though, Sin. We gotta do a intervention.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll get into it next week when Hardcut's back on.
Yeah, when we have more time, because I know Gooch and I are going to have to get out of here probably in like the next 10.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we do have to talk. Well, fortunately for him, he likes it. He's got a whole big channel. Unfortunately for me, I got roped into talking about Terminator to defend the other people. So yeah.
No.
I like hanging out too. Fine.
Yeah.
Don't make me say it, Gooch, you son of a bitch. All right, fine. It's a fun time.
Yeah. I mean, it's something new. Like, I feel like a lot of Netflix especially, because they just dump the entire season out in one go, it just becomes like just content. It's not like in 3 months, I'm not even going to remember Terminator Zero or like anything that happened in it. Like it doesn't really stay with you.
It's fair.
No.
It's fair. And as Gooch explained, you can consider it often its own little Japan universe of Terminator.
Yeah, I mean it's part of Netflix's whole whatever diversification of their watch portfolio. Like there's
a literal diversification of their watch portfolio.
Right. Not not in the DEI sense, but
you got to be careful now.
Yeah, but I think
triggered.
it all started with Castlevania, I think, which was actually pretty fucking decent. If you ask
if
me.
you haven't noticed, Western media has been pretty destroyed, so we're importing Eastern before we destroy that.
Well,
trying
yeah,
to get the milk all the good out of it.
That's why we have like really good Korean and Indian cinema.
All the good shit is from North. Yeah, like that's the whole thing. There's a whole was articles about that, about the like it's gonna burst, the streaming burst from the East because we're gonna burn through all the content, and then the localization will alienate everyone from it. Well, it's a whole fun thing. So enjoy it while it's coming out.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, we're just not getting proper things, and we're going back. I mean, it's a lack of originality problem, right? Everything is a remake or some sort of adaptation,
sequels,
midquels. So we're not getting anything actually original.
You know what they used to do? They used to look at these movies that were great or successful and say, hey, let's get that filmmaker and have him make a new kind of movie, completely original. What did they do with John Woo? They imported him over here and they made him make great movies like Face Off, and he had some stinkers here and there. But now they just they would have taken the movies that he made and just remake it here. That's what the corporate mind thinks of.
Yeah. And speaking of remake,
it wasn't the filmmaker that was successful. It was the property.
Yeah. I mean, and speaking of remakes, you guys have, I mean, I put out a video on this, but you guys have all heard about the all-female remake of Fight Club by Greta Gerwig.
I get a sense that that's like
topless, right? No shirts. No shirts when we fight.
Honestly, women do have their version of Fight Club. It's called book clubs.
I'm with you, Badger.
Just saying.
I want to see this now.
Let's go.
I want to see this.
It's gonna be great for our channel.
I want Sydney Sweeney, Margot Robbie. Who else is got?
Let's get it. Let's get Gina back in there. Come on,
Gina. Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Let's get her back into shape. Come on, get back into fighting shape.
You're gonna get Oprah, Lizzo. You're gonna
my God,
Gucci lost me there. Why are you trying to ruin this for me?
That's what you're gonna get.
Well, Lizzo could be the new Bob.
America Ferrara. We can get. Yeah,
that was good.
We speak her name, Bobina.
Well, I mean, what's her face? Oh God, Gina could actually be Tyler Durden. She's got the look and like just the attitude.
Yeah, get someone fun to play the Edward Norton. Go ahead, let's just make everything over again.
I mean,
I'm here for it.
The thing is that movie was a social commentary on like the crisis of masculinity way back in 1999.
I thought it was about capitalism, depending on which country it was released in, and the ending is all edited.
Oh shit! Wait. So they didn't
in China?
blow up the credit card. Company?
Yeah, in China it's edited that it's like something else he blows up or something like that.
Really? Oh wow, that's a shame.
What could he possibly blow up different from like what? They'd have to be a completely different setup.
I forgot what they switched it to. It was something about because when the 4K came out, it came up again that they
are they still buildings or they're just different kinds?
It's buildings, different kinds of buildings. Yeah,
different
exactly.
businesses.
It wasn't the financial companies because that was the whole point.
Well, and also it was something like they didn't want condoning of like destroying because financial would be government over there. You can't condone the destruction of the hero can't destroy it. So it was some other reason they changed. Whatever. The whole idea is
wow. Some toy company that has a recall of.
They were all American buildings.
Something bad that's killing kids.
Right.
No. Yeah. Good for them. That sounds fun. Great. Greta at least knows how to make a fucking movie. I'll give her that much.
Yeah, I mean, I did, and I mentioned it. I gave it a shout out. I really like Lady Bird. She did a good job in that. Barbie, it's got its faults because like it can't get its central thesis correct.
Wasn't made for you, literally.
Right, it wasn't
made for me. And the people who did, it was made for, that showed up with their pink fucking outfits and they dragged their boyfriends who were hoping they were going to get later on. It made all the fucking money and they liked it, which is why I'm going to say she at least knows how to make a movie for her audience. Now, can she make it for? Is that going to be aimed at chicks, or is that going to be one of those things where like mostly men went to go see Madam Web and the Marvels and things like that? Like not the audience you would think they were targeting.
But there's like deeper themes in Fight Club that are strictly applicative to men,
to masculinity.
Masculinity, right?
Yeah.
So Princess Fiona just said, new Girl Boss Predator prequel coming as well with
Ellie Fanning.
Her scrawny albino ass.
Ellie Fanning, who just said that she doesn't like how girl bosses. So this is probably a nuanced character.
No. I'm bouncing. I'm going to push against that. In my Mad Max Furiosa review, I actually would have preferred Elle Fanning in that role. You want to talk about somebody? Yeah, I'm going to call out Fiona. Princess. If you want to talk about someone with a scrawny figure, it was the actress they actually got, who didn't decide to bulk up and actually make herself
what the hell is
similar to Charlize Theron. I'm blanking on her name.
Gucci just said it twice. Say it again.
Anya Taylor-Joy?
Yeah.
So yeah, Joy was someone who didn't decide to bulk up and actually make her. She sort of had a frame, but not as good as Elle Fanning. Elle Fanning actually, she's like 5'11", and she towers over people when you look at photos online when she's on red carpets. And she was a great stature for that. And in she's going to be in the Predator sequel or whatever they're doing, prequel, sequel, yada yada. She could do well with that. And it was funny that they decided to do that. Right after, sometime after I fucking said, oh, she could be in an action movie. Just saying.
Yeah.
I do have to get going here, though.
All right.
Sorry I have to leave, but it was very nice meeting you guys.
Absolutely.
Likewise, Gooch.
Why don't you tell everybody what you got going on your channel and
okay.
Give yourself to plug yourself a little bit.
I have my little channel called Diabolical Souls Presents, where I review animated series, movies, and then I have this little show called Late Night with Gooch on Sunday nights, where we talk pop culture, me and the panel, and it's a lot of fun. So yeah, swing on by, check it out.
Absolutely.
It's
definitely well.
Yeah, so. I thank you so much for the invite.
100%. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, absolutely. I will see you guys soon, and you guys will take care.
Sounds good, man.
All right,
cheers.
Yeah, cheers. And I guess this is as good a point as any to wrap it up.
Could be a shorty this one, and then we make it fucking epic next week.
Oh yeah, we will. Unfortunately, Badger can't be here next week.
No, I'm actually going to be. I'm going to be on Open Bar next week talking about Beetlejuice, I guess.
Good for you.
Yeah. Well,
you're becoming somewhat of a regular.
Yeah. Well, the drinker is a generous one. So yeah. There we go.
I mean, give us your boys a shout out on his show.
I always do. I will. Yes.
Nice, man.
Yeah. No, other than that, I'm going to be on Gucci's channel talking about Terminator. At least that first episode, 7:00 PST. Yeah.
Nice. And then same deal as usual, 3 videos a day.
Oh yeah, 3 videos a day. Badgercast Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The rest of the days with Nerd Wars, and then Tuesdays on Gucci's channel. Guess Tuesdays and Thursdays now. It's a whole thing.
Dude, you're doing a lot of shit. Okay. Yeah. I say that in a positive way. I say that in a positive way. Yeah, you were co-host on Film Threat. I mean,
Chris, yes.
I watched a little bit of that, actually. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Yeah.
Good on you, man.
No, yeah, Mondays, Film Threat versus, I forget too. I have to get it right out of schedule.
Yeah,
it's all up here. I remember when it counts.
Yeah. Google Calendar.
No, it's great. It might seem like a lot, and it is, but like when you love what you do and you love the people you're doing it with, it's not.
I mean, you guys are great. I'm constantly texting Kyle like, "Oh, hey, did you watch this or did you watch that? What'd you think?" Like, yeah.
Well, some things I'll watch, some things I won't. It's just if you ask me if I watched the Rings of Power, I'm not going to do it because I tried the first 2 or 3 episodes, and the thing I left out on was if your show can't hook me within the first 2 or 3 episodes, you're done. I'm not coming back.
You definitely probably won't like Terminator then. But the reason I give myself the cancer by watching this stuff is so that when Chris Gore says, "Do you want to come on and talk Rings of Power?" I could say, "Yes, Chris. In fact, I do want to come on and talk Rings of Power." It's worth the small bits of death for the rejuvenation of streaming with my heroes and friends and the chat, because it's all actually about.
If a discussion was strictly about something, then you got to do your homework. Yeah. So I get that. I would do that. Yeah. But if we're doing a myriad of topics, then I can contribute those, and then the rest I can. Yeah. If you guys are talking about Acolyte, which we did, or you guys did, I'll listen.
Limit your exposure if you can. Yeah, limit your exposure to like X-ray radiation. Wear the lead vest,
right?
So you can have no other choice.
Yeah. And Kyle, what have you got going on? I haven't seen. I saw your Alien Romulus review. Did I miss anything else?
Yeah, everyone who's listening, go check out the Alien Romulus review. It needs a few more hits, guys. Beyond that, I'm working on a conversation I had with a friend of mine who's also an actor, Benjamin. He's been on this.
Oh, yeah.
Where we talked about Dragged Across Concrete, which is a film that I think is one of the most underrated films of the last decade. Mm-hmm. And we get into a deep dive about it. I do have a few
cigars and the fire.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very high tea.
Which I want to do more of. After this, usually that's my routine. After these live streams, I have a cigar, I go outside, and I have the rest of my drink.
Nice.
So beyond that, I have a couple already recorded episodes of Impromptu View talking about trap.
Okay.
Very quickly. I didn't want to you're going to be I made a point. I don't want to talk about this too in depth because I just wanted. I have 2 points I basically make and I'm out.
Yeah.
And then the other one is, what is the other one? It's one of the films that came out. Deadpool Wolverine. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh,
we all I know it's like almost it's filling the content meter. Okay. I like the film. There's nothing controversial about it. So yeah.
Liking the film is controversial to some people, so that'll be enough. Should be enough engagement.
Some people find a way to make some films controversial in some way, right? We ought to find the reviews that made Wolverine Deadpool controversial, right?
Right. We want to like things, and so we try. I liked Deadpool and Wolverine, so I'm not. I see the things people say. But
we agreed that the plot line has holes and it's sloppily done, but you defended it in that way of that's not what it's about. And I ultimately agreed with you. But if we're going to go down that rabbit hole,
it was still
it's going to be. We're going to get into some arguments about it. Yeah,
we got to take something. We got to take some victories, right? And that was like, I'll just enjoy this.
Yeah, it's the characters. Yeah. It's the characters.
Characters. 100%.
Fuck off, Phoebe Waller-Bridge. That's not what we're talking about.
Yes.
This is the one exception. This is the one exception where the characters actually drive.
No Tomb Raider for you.
No Tomb Raider for you.
Yes. Not touch that, Phoebe.
We should get her on the stream.
Paul, no one ever asked what you got going on.
Paul, yeah, what
you have to ask yourself.
I want to say like he has these videos that are coming out that are unexpected where he's commenting on things that are not, the new release. You're talking about things that are from the other, like last year or something. What was the other film that you commented on that you made a video about?
There's been a bunch.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I did like one long form. I wrote another one, which I have yet to film. It kind of like copying this other channel, Moon. They're like fucking massive and just make depressing videos. But it was my first video in that kind of series was Demolition Man Tried to Warn You. And it was like all the things that ended up coming true in Demolition Man. So I've got another one written for Enemy of the State and like the global surveillance state. I'm mentioning like Edward Snowden and all that.
So you've discovered that evergreen content is maybe a bit more way to go than the every single. Well, for you it is better because you can't grind it out every single day.
I can't. No.
Right. So evergreen gives you longer to produce a more hone that'll just that's good.
Yeah, I mean, last week I had a wedding to go to, so I wanted to bang out 2 videos, and it just took me like all day long to do 2. So props to Badger because you are pumping them out.
It's a different level of insanity where you just go. Yeah.
It's like minimal editing, like go.
And minimal editing as in no editing. No, I took that from Ryan from RK Outpost, who while doing his live streams will just be like, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to RK Outpost. Disney yet again. And he'll just do the whole the video and then cut it out. And so it's like, okay. Yeah. I don't know how to do any of the editing, so I better learn how to do that. And that's just what I do. I just do it in one go.
Yeah, I mean, I've been
otherwise
fucking around a little bit with Adobe After Effects. It's cool just to have like little effects, like, you know, in terms of like shifting like what I'm talking about, fucking around with like green screen content. So in my video about the female fight club, I was like, I made a whole like allegory to women in medicine, and just had like a really hot doctor like just come right here on screen, which is pretty awesome. But so I'm hoping to put out that I need to just like read it back through again, because it's like, I mean, it's a 4,000 word essay essentially. Like it'll take me a while to like edit it so it sounds correct, and I want to like make sure my tone remains consistent. But I think that's the next one that's coming up, and then another live stream next Thursday.
There you go.
Which Kyle will be on, and Sin and Hardcut, and I want to say Slav maybe, but I'll iron out the guest list before then.
And Badger, you'll give us a shout out.
Yeah, 100%.
Just be like, hey, you
just totally slip it in.
Drinker, you know this guy Kyle Corwith?
I try to, if any of the people I stream with can in any way be brought up without sounding like I'm fucking shilling, which I personally hate when people do.
Yeah.
So I don't do it. But if it can any way be brought up naturally, I will.
Organically. No, I respect that. I like that.
I just mentioned Nerd Wars and Gooch on Chris's stream because it came up super fucking relevant and natural to the conversation. But the worst thing you can do as a streamer, just a little hint, unsolicited advice, is beg for shout outs. Not you guys. Beg for shout outs in the chat, or like ask for, well, can I be on? Oh, they hate when you do that. Not just me, other people like that. It's the worst. So I do try to get out shout outs whenever I can, though, because it helps. But you do have the great content, Paul. I know.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
I learned that lesson 15 years ago, maybe even more than that. Someone was doing a live stream. His channel does not exist anymore. It's Brett or something. His channel. I think he was trying to be his own Fred. In the chat, I said, "Check out my content." And the guy, he said, at the time, it was called K97 Cross, and he said, "K97 Cross, you want me to check out your channel? How about no?" And he says, so I learned pretty quickly, don't do that. So
etiquette, don't plug other live streams while you're live on unless like the host asks you to plug your stuff. But like, sometimes people in the chat are like, "Check out blah blah blah. They're streaming right now." It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
we're streaming right now. It's just
just keep it. I mean, it's just simple common sense. You just keep it on topic. I mean,
but that's the problem, Kyle. It's so not common to some people.
Well, their mindset is where I was 15 plus years ago when I was just a newbie and YouTube was just
never ascribed to malice, but you could ascribe to just basic ignorance. Didn't know that's. I've done that too.
Yeah, it's usually ignorance, and that's what I had too. So you live.
We all know better now. Though.
Chat and learn.
Been embarrassed enough.
Badger, are you also doing the pregame for Open Bar?
Yeah.
This week?
So I'll go and I'll just leave 5 minutes earlier and. Gooch or someone else will be on there, and I just jump right in, because they don't send it till like 5 minutes before the show.
It's like the whole thing. It's your pregame, Open Bar, and then Thirsty Thursdays.
Well, that's why we set.
Dude, you can make all of it. Everything is liquor themed in all of this stuff that you're doing. You can make some jokes out of this shit.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's all right. Works out in the end.
Well, looking forward to it. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah.
Yes.